What is up, everybody? It is Sunday. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you know where your cryptids are?
They're in bed. Ugh.
So, tonight's show, since we're still in Colorado, Rocky Mountain High, last weekend we did the Denver airport. We had a special guest on because James was. Where'd you go for after your honeymoon?
You ain't gonna believe this. We ended up not really going anywhere because after our evening at Saturday night, we came home and fell asleep. We sat down. That was the problem. We sat down, got comfortable, and fell asleep overnight. So Sunday we just kind of went down south, spent the day down south. So yeah, that was it.
Oh, okay. No ghost hunting, no Bigfooting.
No. She wouldn't let me. She would have let me on the ghost hunting, but not the Bigfoot. Definitely would.
We will have plenty of time for that, my brother.
Yes, for sure.
So we've still got 2 more shows here in Colorado. We've got tonight. We got the Thunderbirds in America because there's sightings in Texas, Minnesota. I got a few things we can read on those. And then we got Cripple Creek, Colorado for next week. Which
Very
actually which does have a Mount Pisgah cemetery, which is haunted. I know we were done with Pisgah Home Colony, but this ain't the home colony. This is a whole new place.
It's a mountain. All right.
It's a mountain cemetery in Colorado.
Yay.
So, Thunderbird's been one of those legends that have been around since Native American tribal times, along with Bigfoot. But since we were in Colorado, we did the Stanley, so we've got our ghost in. We've got our conspiracy theory. And now we've got our cryptid.
Yeah, rolled on into one.
It's a food pyramid of the paranormal. You know, I figure we got to have one of everything.
Absolutely.
All right. So the article I'm going to read from is from kekbfm.com. It is from November 9th, 2020. We have nobody on. They're going to miss all the good parts.
Well, that's their problem, man. They'll have to listen in later if they don't show up now. Where's the #1 fan, man?
All right, so I'll put up a picture of the Thunderbird. We're just going to roll with that one.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Might be running a little late. Yeah. So the article goes on to say, Western Colorado's Grand Mesa is a majestic place, treasured for its beauty, pristine lakes, and abundant wildlife. It's no wonder the Ute Indians viewed the area as a magical land. To the Ute, the Grand Mesa was known as Thingawata, which roughly translates as the land of the departed spirits. Also called Thunder Mountains, the Utes told a legend of the Thunderbirds, and the legend says a Ute chieftain, Sigwa, and his son were on a camping trip at the base of the mesa. While the chieftain was away hunting, a Thunderbird plunged into the camp, grasping the young boy in his claws and carried him to his nest. He get freeze in place as if he was rooting himself to the side of the mountain.
And are you there? Did we lose the
giant
dock?
bird's nest, only to find his son devoured by the. I don't know. I'm here now, I guess.
Yeah, you're coming in and out, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm all hooked up.
Yeah, I didn't even catch any of that you said. What you were reading there.
All right, well, we'll just have to start over again. Yeah, this is gonna be one of those nights of chaos. Way to go! This is gonna take an hour just to get through this thing if we keep having internet issues. All right, so Oot Chieftain, Sikawa, and his son were on a camping trip at the base of the mesa. While the chieftain was away hunting, a Thunderbird plunged into the camp, grasping the young boy in his claws, and carried him to his nest. Destined to get revenge, the father camouflaged himself with sacred red cedar tree and began to ascend the mesa. Whenever a Thunderbird would soar above him, Sequel would freeze in place as if he was rooting himself to the side of a mountain. After scaling the mesa all day, Sequel finally reached the giant bird's nest, only to find his son devoured by the beast's nestlings. Angry, he pulled the young from the nest and tossed them down the cliff. A giant serpent, the Kuba, lived at the base of the cliff, who devoured the young Thunderbirds as they fell from the nest. After the Thunderbirds returned to the nest, they realized their young were missing and swooped down on the giant serpent. Carrying him high above the mesa, they ripped him to shreds with a thunderous clash. The pieces of the serpent crashed to the ground and created giant craters in the mesa's landscape. Engulfed with rage and sadness, the Thunderbirds' wings clapped with thunder and tears flowed from their eyes, filling the craters forming the lake on the Grand Mesa. If you look at the mesa just right, you can see some of the legend right in the landscape. Apparently, there's a hieroglyph of a Thunderbird etched into the side of the Grand Mesa. The legend also states that the three Thunderbirds nest on the ridge of the Grand Mesa. In this photo, which I don't have up, it said the white areas are the discarded bones of the Thunderbirds. Plus, you can just make out the shape of a serpent where it is believed Batakwa lived. So, the description of a Thunderbird, and we can kind of see a little bit of scale with this artist's rendition of a Thunderbird up on the screen, that it is huge. It is bigger than a condor, a 40-foot wingspan in some respects, and as it's flapping its wings, it's creating thunder, lightning, and bringing a storm along with it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was gonna ask if they were smoking some of that peyote stuff and going into that spirit world and dreaming all the shit up.
well, I mean, it's just like everything else. Bigfoot, yeah. So this next article I got comes from the Museum of the Weird, February 3rd, 2011, by Steve Bootsty.
You
It's
said
entitled
Museum of the Weird?
Museum of the Weird.
All right, then.
Because every time I put in Thunderbirds in Colorado, I was getting the Thunderbirds aerial team.
Yeah, there you go. They're mistaking it for, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, we do know that Colorado does have a Thunderbirds hockey team.
Right.
Like Portland, Oregon has the Blackhawks. So, yeah, they've got the Thunderbirds.
The Winterhawks.
So the title, yeah, we got the Winterhawks. That's sister league to the Blackhawks. That's where I'm getting confused.
Yep.
It has been a long weekend.
Uh-oh.
All right. So then we have. I'm just going to read. I'm going to read this guy's 5th, 2008. I witnessed, along with others, what can only be described as an extraordinary event in the Rio Grande Valley. So we're kind of in Texas for a little bit. As long as the internet holds up. I was in South Texas visiting from Missouri and staying with my brother in McAllen. It was around 6:15 p.m. and my brother and I had just finished watching a Yankees-Red Sox game and the post-game show to see if the Cardinals had played yet. We went out on the patio for a cold beverage and a smoke. We had visited for a few minutes when I noticed two large, indiscriminate black objects in the distance, and I asked out loud, "What the hell are those?" I pointed them out to my brother, who acknowledged them that he saw them, but he couldn't identify what he was seeing. As I stood up and took a few steps on the patio towards the backyard, I was thinking to myself, UFOs, hang gliders? Neither fit with what I was looking at. Just then, a commercial airliner that was apparently coming in for a landing or possibly a departure at McAllen International Airport has swung around in an arc behind the objects, and for a long moment I can see the two indiscriminate black objects superimposed under the body of the airline. I immediately blurted out, "It's those GD Big Birds from the History Channel." And then a few other expletives. I told my brother to get his wife so she can see what we were seeing. As I walked all the way out into the yard from underneath the patio, I glanced back to the southeast in the direction the birds had come from. Much to my surprise, there was an entire line of giant birds that stretched a good half mile to 3/4 of a mile in the sky, in a straight line. As the birds moved from the southeast to the northwest, you could clearly make out that there were thousands of smaller birds swarming around the big birds in the center of the convoy. Because that's what it looked like, a military convoy. There were the original two birds that we saw, then a considerable distance, as much as a 1/4 mile or better, between the first two and the next group, which was either 4 or 5 birds. I can't remember for sure, but each of those 4 or 5 birds had a swarm of smaller birds around them. Then there was a considerable distance that I would again judge to be a 1/4 mile or better, and then 2 solitary birds bringing up the rear. The birds flew single file through the sky. We were viewing the birds from the same side as their left wingtips. My brother's wife arrived in the backyard as the middle group of large birds passed with the swarm of smaller birds, thousands of them. She exclaimed, "Oh my God, it's their babies." Also, it was easy to see with the naked eye that some of the big birds were bigger than others. Even my brother, who was blind as a bat, could see that big birds were different sizes. I specifically asked him this as we watched this odd procession cross the sky. I then recalled one specific detail from the History Channel documentary. As the last 2 birds in the procession passed by, our sight line, the final bird in the procession spread its wings out and looked like a nearly perfect rectangle. I turned to my brother's wife and asked her, "What shape is that?" She looked at me oddly and said, "A rectangle." This rectangular shaped wing, which I have never seen on a bird before, was one of the unique characteristics of the big bird, as reported by eyewitnesses in Texas and other states on the History Channel program. Of course, no one had a camera. I even went next door to see if the neighbors were home to see if they had one. Nobody home. It took me a good 5 minutes to find my car keys and get out of the door, and by that time the birds were out of visible sight. I drove in the general direction the birds were heading, but I never saw them again. I called the McAllen Police Department to file a report. They sent an officer out from Animal Control to take the information. He tried to tell me they were probably saw migrating white cranes. I called the airport to see if there would be possible radar tracks or something that would show something, or if any pilots had reported seeing anything unusual. No luck. I called and spoke with the editor of the Monitor, McAllen's major newspaper, who my brother knew personally because of the editor's daughter was a friend of my niece. He was intrigued but showed no interest in following up on the story. I even emailed a cryptozoologist about the encounter, but I never heard back. Just a few months ago, I spoke with Dr. Patrick Redding from the University of Minnesota Raptor Center about the incident. He was one of the experts who had appeared on the History Channel program. I shared all the details about the sightings as well as my hypnosis Hypothesis on where the birds may have originated from and where they were heading that day. 17 days after the sighting, Hurricane Dolly made landfall in the region. It is my belief that the big birds moved their flock pod purposely to avoid the obvious weather conditions coming ashore. In addition, if you backtrack the vector the birds were traveling in the sky, a couple different possible points of origin make themselves evident, as well as a couple possible destinations. I have my own theories about what is specifically, but who wants to go down to Mexico these days? I swear to God and on my grandfather's grave that these are the facts as truthfully, honest, and accurate as I remember them. If I was asked to take a lie detector test about the information that I have shared from this encounter, I would have readily agreed. I have nothing to hide nor gain from sharing this encounter with those that would be interested. I have no doubt these Thunderbirds exist. I saw them just as many others have. As far as I know, my brother, his wife, and I are the only ones to ever report an encounter with a group of the creatures and their possible offspring or symbiotic companions. So the History Channel program that he's referencing was Monster Quest, and that show talked about a Thunderbird actually picking up a small child in the yard and actually carried him across the yard before dropping him.
Huh.
So,
Interesting. I just don't see it happening.
Okay, I got another one here. It was last year, 2010 of September 12th, time 10:48 p.m. Got home from my niece's birthday party around that time. I love to see the stars, so I looked up and I spotted something very weird. I thought it was a plane, but didn't have blinking lights. And I looked at it again, and it was a huge bird. It looked like a dinosaur in color brownish and a greenish, like I guessed. Huge wings and a long, huge tail. My mom even saw it, and the plane was following it. Flew around my house, so the next day I checked around 11 p.m. and saw it again. I wanted to film it, but it was too dark. I saw it 3 times. Now, some of the descriptions kind of vary from witness to witness. Some they sound like a pterodon, your basic pterodactyl looking thing, big long tail, big wings, reptile. A lot of the native folklore is a giant eagle with a 40-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we can't totally debunk everything real quick because, oh yeah, I forgot to put up the history and then the sightings. Yeah, I forgot those last week too. The last 10 minutes will be Skeptic's Corner, where we could try to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the last 10. Yeah. The last 10 minutes is in honor, memory. I don't know how you want to call that. Of our former companion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can't believe you got a section on the show just dedicated for that. All right, then. Shall we go?
Well, that's why it's the last 10 minutes. We can actually sit down and we can just try to, hash it out and be like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. So there's total of 3 sightings?
No, there's actually hundreds of them. I'm just trying to find some of these other ones. In 1977, Chief A.J. Huffer, a former combat photographer, was hired to look for giant birds called Thunderbirds in Illinois. In July, he spotted large birds and recorded a video. The footage became extremely popular and was even featured in an episode of Monster Quest.
Boy, Monster Quest is getting a lot of thanks here. A lot of honorable mentions.
Well, they did like 3 or 4 different shows.
Mm-hmm. And I never watched a one. I couldn't. I just couldn't. uh,
Because we've already covered it. All right, so I got another one here. In 2008, on the south I witnessed a large flying Thunderbird riding the lead edge. It tried to grab a turkey vulture in midair, barely missing it along the Mesa encampment. The turkey vulture had a 4 to 6 foot wingspan, therefore the Thunderbird had a 48 to 72 foot wingspan. Basically, the thing had a 4 equal distance sections, 2 per wing, each section being about 3 times the vulture wingspan. The head and the legs were identical as is the wing structure, like a 2x10, not a triangular wing connected to the fuselage body. There are also power lines and a tower directly behind the Thunderbird. The thing was immense. They do not fly, they glide, and that is why they have legs that can walk them off the mesa to jump off. I called the Colorado Division of Wildlife. Officer Kyle Banks came out to investigate, or really to downplay the possibility of a Thunderbird, but they know. First, the truth is ridiculed. Then it is denied. Then it is self-evidence. I've seen in broad daylight gliding 100 miles an hour after I tried to grab another bird in midair. Truth to me, it's obvious. And then everything else that I've all right, so here's from the Daily Sentinel, September 4th, 2010, by Amy Hamilton. The Thunderbird legend lures skiers in a trap. We're talking. That's basically talking about the hieroglyphic depiction of a large bird on the Grand Mesa. Oh, this is just 2 guys going up on a mountain and getting stuck in the snow. It has nothing to do with.
the Thunderbird.
See, here's the problem. Well, the problem is we don't really have a whole lot of stuff on the Thunderbird. But I want to save Cripple Creek for next weekend to finish off Colorado. So I mean, kind of what you're looking at is we've got, like, we started with the Stanley, we went with Denver Airport, Thunderbird. We're having technical issues with our internet connections, so it kind of fits that it's not really a huge bit.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this illustration, and these are called Thunderbirds, and you can just see all that lightning on the tips of the feathers. Just makes it look more intimidating. But I don't.
Well,
yeah.
Save it for the last 10 minutes.
I am.
I mean, what we know is it's a legend.
Yes.
And we do have to go back to
what was the
a lot
most
of
recent
Native American
sightings?
legends are talking about, 2008.
That was the most recent sighting, was 2008.
That was the most recent sighting, was 2008.
Okay. Saving this stuff for the last 10 minutes. Okay. Oh my.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
I found something to fill out some time here.
I'm sitting there trying to think. I mean, I've never heard of the Thunderbirds, so it's like I know nothing here.
All right. So Oregon, 2022.
Oh, they're
So
sighting in
that's
Oregon.
the most recent sighting here in Oregon. There was a sighting in Oregon. A group of hikers reported seeing a massive bird soaring over the Cascade Range. Its wingspan was estimated to be over 10 feet with distinctive white feathers at the tips. We got 2020 Alberta, Canada. Two span of 6 to 8 feet gliding overhead. The bird appeared to be dark brown with a hooked beak and powerful talons. We got 2017 in Montana. A driver was heading down a deserted highway when he spotted a massive bird with a wingspan of 12 to 14 feet perched on a tree by the root of his head. I've got a group of hunters were out in the woods when they stumbled upon a massive bird perched on a tree branch. There's 2011, Arizona. A camper was sitting by a campfire in the middle of the night when they saw a massive bird with a wingspan of 12 feet fly over the desert. The bird appeared to have a glowing aura around it, and its feathers shimmered in the moonlight. On his livestock when he saw a massive bird with a wingspan of 8 with a sharp curved beak and piercing eyes. 2010, British Columbia, Canada. A couple was enjoying a picnic by a lake when they spotted a bird with a wingspan of 10 to 12 feet flying overhead. In 2007, Colorado. A group of hikers were climbing a mountain when they spotted a massive bird with a wingspan of 14 feet soaring over the peak. The bird was dark brown with a distinctive red crest on its head. On a desolate stretch of highway when they saw a massive bird with a wingspan of 12 to 15 feet perched on a cliff.
Okay.
And we can't exactly go into the last. The sky. Feet, 12 feet, 14 feet. They're kind of all over the place, so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of trying to look up and see what kind of birds actually have that kind of a wingspan of at least right around that. And the only thing really I'm coming up with is the wandering albatross, which has reaches up to 12-foot wingspan. I mean, come on.
Well, I know the turkey vulture has a 6-foot wingspan. It has white wings with a red head to it. So, I don't know. I almost feel like we can take the last half hour and just skeptic corner it.
Oh my
Well,
God.
you should have seen some of the other cryptids we had that we could have covered that were just ridiculous, as ridiculous as sheep squatch. I
Oh,
was
yeah?
like Thunderbird. Thunderbird, it's a legend. It's part of all the stories of tribal nations. I don't think you'd want to cover the wandering vampire of Denver and
The wandering
The
vampire
hell
of
hands.
Denver.
Yeah, that's a whole. That would have been 5 minutes. I mean, we could have just done like six
You could then.
random cryptids.
Oh, that's funny.
And I
Oh
figured,
my
hey,
god.
you know, we could do Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find any more.
Right. Bum 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 bum.
Yeah, see, the problem is when you put it into a search engine to look for sightings, it literally comes up with the Thunderbirds are flying over Colorado, Denver. Come see them fly in the aerobatics. It's like you're not helping me.
Oh yeah.
Nope. You know, CBS News, October 24th, 2024. So here we go. Really,
Recent.
really recent. Out of mysterious Thunderbird sightings in Pennsylvania examined in TV series. The truth behind sightings of a mysterious bird-like creature in Pennsylvania was examined in a TV series. The most prominent reporting usually has to do with its wingspan, which has just been said to be as large as a small aircraft. The mystery of the Thunderbird of Pennsylvania, terrorizing Chet's Ridge and the westernmost ridge of the Allegheny Mountains, soared in the spotlight on the Discovery Channel on Wednesday night in the series Lost Monster Files. A group of experts investigate cryptozoologist Ivan Sanders' lost archive of unexplained creatures. Skip a lot of this other stuff that they're talking about. Sasquatch, Black Panther, Thunderbirds, UFOs. We don't care about that. We'll skip down a little bit. We've had quite a little surge of Thunderbird sightings this year. Off the top of my head, I can think of 8 reports that happened since January. In some cases, these huge flying creatures, even in recent months, have been very low altitude, treetop level. In some cases, come down within 20 or so feet of vehicles in recent months around the greater Pittsburgh area, Gordon added. They hope interest in this scary flying creature takes flight and help keeps the unusual story alive for generations. When you get good media coverage, it helps to give credibility to the people who have seen these things, experienced these type of events, who might have been reluctant to talk about it publicly for fear of ridicule. So there we go. We got recent sightings, October 2024. But they've been popping up all over the place. So, like I said, sometimes they look like pterodactyls. Sometimes, you know, all the old stories are, you know, like let's take Devil's Tower, for example. The story to that one is the Native American legend is that some youths from the tribe were up on top, and there was a giant bear that was a 100-foot bear was trying to get them, and they were up on top of the Devil's Peak, the Devil's Tower, and that's why the Devil's Tower has all these like stretch marks, is because the bear was trying to get to them, even though it's a giant basalt column. It's kind of one of those things. So here's one, Phantoms and Monsters, from April 7th, 2020. Thunderbird pterodactyl sightings, Colorado, Texas, and Mississippi. So there was 3 different sightings. think we already read that one. In 2008, on the southeast corner of North Table Mountain in Golden, Colorado, witnessed a large flying thunderbird riding the lead edge of a thunderstorm. Yeah, we already read that one. Here's another eyewitness report. This is crazy because my girlfriend and I were driving through Texas, and at 3 a.m., something flew right over our car, and we could feel the wing flapping in the car. This wing spreader was literally at least 2 lanes on the highway width. I don't know what it was, but it was not any drone or sleep deprivation. It was something that looked exactly like a pterodactyl and big. We seen it. It seemed like it. As we drove up to it, it was either on the road and just took off, or it swooped down and went up because it was right in front of us then. So fast, it was just flying to the driver's side above our Civic. I'm telling you, what we seen was huge. No feathers, fur, hair, nothing. But skin like a bat would have, and a huge bump or something that was very much an attention grabber on the top of his head. I'm telling you, there was no feathers at all. Their skin was like the inside of a bat's wing, but thick like leather, if that makes any sense. And the head, I don't know. I'm not making this up. And if pterodactyls are somehow still extinct, then we no doubt seen one. The last one for this article, I actually saw a pterodactyl with a tail down here in Kessler Air Force Base, Mississippi. I wasn't the only one who saw it. Me and 2 other airmen saw it during a ceremony outside, and we weren't sitting anywhere near each other. After I saw it, I walked around asking others, and those 2 saw the exact thing I saw. It was huge compared to the birds flying that high. After the ceremony, I did some research, and there had been sightings in Cuba on a military base as well. Ironically enough, before I did my research, I was thinking to myself, maybe it came from an island like Cuba, something that is close to Florida. Crazy that there are 2 other witnesses who I verified with and also showed the sketch that the Cuban man saw, and they said, that's 100% what I saw.
Oh my god. I think he was seeing something, but not a pterodactyl. They got those remote controlled airplanes and stuff. All sorts of things. I even seen a remote controlled pterodactyl on a TV show, so it could have been flying around. He mistaken it for a Thunderbird.
You're early, man.
Sorry. Oops. My bad. Oh well.
That's okay. Let's go. Let's slide in the skeptic's corner.
It's just the thought.
Well, let's look at it from the world of a skeptic.
Oh god, I don't.
Now that we know, how can we be a skeptic on this one?
I don't know. I mean, because this pretty much came out of the Native American thing, correct? It's just kind of like Sasquatch, right. Bigfoot. It was part of the Native American lore. Could they be connected somehow? I mean, are they connected with
I know.
aliens? Yeah, portals. Yeah, or just not at all. We'll run it.
Well, if we're talking about portals, let me go back to sightings, and we'll hold off on Skeptic's Corner. I should put the tinfoil hat corner on, just so we could just go down a rabbit hole. All right, everybody, consider this. Here we go. We're gonna go tinfoil hat corner before we go Skeptic's Corner. We're only at 40 minutes in.
Gonna have to go get my tinfoil hat, man.
There was a. All right, now. There was a TV show on in the early 2000s called Primeval. It was out of England. It was on the BBC. You can still find it. I think it's on Amazon. I think it's on some of those other streaming networks. The entire plot line of that show was these portals would open up into the dinosaur era. So different dinosaurs, the different dinosaur of the week would come through these portal, and these group of people would have to put the dinosaurs back to the portal before it ate anybody else. So,
oh my god, that's funny.
I mean, you said portal, So, what if there were portals
Okay.
open Prius that are flying in from the past?
They're coming in
and
the
then
future
they
to get
fly
their little
over
dessert.
here, and then we see them a little bit, and then they turn around, and fly back in the portal, and that's why we can't ever see them. That's why we never find them. I
Oh,
I had nothing really for the tinfoil hat.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, they're flying through the portal. They're coming to get their little dinner and then flying back through. Oh man, this has got to be one of the top 10, top 5.
So now we got a better banner up.
Tinfoil hat corner. Oh jeez.
Hey, we've got the history, we've got the sightings, the tinfoil hat corner. You know, we could actually use a tinfoil hat corner just to kind of go down those rabbit holes that are just
start
crazy.
the rabbit.
Should have had one for the.
Yeah.
Should have had the tinfoil hat. Well, I mean, basically Denver Airport was all tinfoil hat.
Damn.
That have been going on, and the weird things, and the whole thing was basically a big conspiracy thing.
Yep. Wouldn't doubt it.
So while we're here, let me just continue going down. We've still got time on the clock here.
Yeah, we're only halfway down the rabbit hole.
So what if the people that are seeing pterodactyls, those are the ones that are coming through the longer exists because they all died off.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. You cut off.
Yeah, I know. I said, what if all the Thunderbirds we're seeing now are the pterodactyls coming through the portals? Because most are starting to die off, you know, because the Bigfoot community is supposed to be, you know, waning, dissipating, everything else like that. So maybe these giant birds existed once upon a time, because we know in the fossil records that there were giant eagles.
Yeah. They're coming in and taking the place of Bigfoot. I don't know, man. Jeez. I don't know about it.
All right, so let's go back into skeptics.
Oh, this is bad. Skeptics Corner. This is all just BS. I think
a lot of these people are. Well, the thing is, like, okay, now let's take our encounter with the herons. If we saw a great blue heron from a distance and we had nothing in the sky to calculate the size and everything.
Right.
So say if we're walking through the woods and we see one and it flies between a couple trees, now we have the trees that we can use for the size. But if
Mm-hmm.
these are just vultures, herons, a larger bird of prey, and you're seeing them from, I don't want to say far away, but you have nothing in the big appropriate size ratio, say that these things were bigger than they really are. And I got a little story that goes along with this one. So, eons ago, and one of the golf courses has a lot of great blue herons that frequents the course because they have a river going through the stream. The stream is a little bit more reset from the green, so it's down there a bit. Well, as we came up to the edge of the green to aired a great blue heron that was down there fishing for frogs. Well, as it takes off, it puts out that wingspan at 2 feet away. So I would say the wingspan on this thing would, I think it's about a 5-6 feet wide. I mean, it's a big bird. But if you've never seen a heron in flight before, you could quite easily say that it had a 40-foot wingspan, show off of front or behind. So there is a chance that this is just a lot of
misidentification.
Misidentification.
I would say you're absolutely
You got anything
correct.
else? Because I'm running out of.
No, because actually I'm only catching parts of what you're saying because you're freezing up on me here. So I'm only getting parts of the story here.
It's a good thing this is it was better than the other cryptids I found. So if we take it back to one of your original statements, what if people are doing peyote out in the woods, but because they're all high, they're all miscalculating things?
Yeah. They're all doing their little
Bugs worked on the internet situation. Our number one fan.
At least someone's enjoying the show.
Says we're just trying to get through. We're probably going to end it a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, because it's cutting out pretty bad right now.
It is a good story. It is a good, yeah. I don't know why everything's all topsy-turvy tonight. But hey, it would not be chaos.
Oh man. let's just kill this episode.
So we're going to go ahead before we have any more weird situations happen. Any closing words, James?
No, I got nothing right now, man. I'm just trying to get through this. Holy cow. Next week will definitely be better. I'm sure of it.
We'll have Cripple Creek next week. February is Alien Abduction Month. March will be Oregon Month. And then the last 2 months of season 3 will be all about Montana, where we will have a very special guest co-host. Star will be back for 2 months, as she has worked in Montana and encountered a lot of the places that we will be talking about.
Hey, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm sure you just got the same message I got.
Investigations.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's something we can discuss later.
There we can. All right, we're gonna end this painful thing and walk away.
Definitely.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll try to get all these issues. We hope it'll be better. So everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with the technical issues.
Pure chaos.
See you next
tonight.
week. I'm the Duck.
And I'm the King.
It is chaos. And we are out of here.
Out here.
Night, everybody.